Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all. Now, before we begin today's session, may I request you all to keep your mobile phones on silent mode through the length of this evening as a matter of courtesy to the proceedings. Thank you. Axis Bank welcomes you to the 7th edition of our exclusive MSME knowledge series called Evolve. Our customers' voice and opinion matter to Axis Bank. And so we have shared a form with you all present today to capture the same. Request you to kindly fill in the same and hand it over at the registration table at the end of this session. So without further ado, I would like to invite on stage our first keynote speaker, Mr. Yogesh Gupta. He is the founder and managing director of Mega Moda Private Limited and regional chairman of Federation of Indian Export Organizations, FIEO. Mr. Gupta, FCA, is an all-India rank holder and has gained vast experience in international trade for over 22 years, enabling his export business to grow from scratch to a 200 crore plus in the marine sector. An earlier stint in leather goods also enabled him to gather the nuances of business trades, including the various laws and regulations that govern the export business. Mega Moda Private Limited is a Government of India recognized 2-star trading export house, and it is an ISO 9001-20 company. Its annual revenue is 26 million USD. It's the largest exporter of seafood from eastern state, and it has a state-of-the-art processing plant with BRC, BAP, SEDEX, and AEO certification. Mr. Gupta has been chairman of ILPA, the Indian Leather Product Association, which is an organization for the promotion of exports of leather goods. He has remained vice president of IACC, Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, and a past regional committee member of CLE, which is the Council for Leather Exports, which is a semi-government organization for the promotion of leather goods. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Yogesh Gupta on stage.
Good evening, all. It was a long wait, so I would like to say again, good evening. Thank you. So let's wake up. Mr. Sangram Singh, President Commercial Banking Group, Axis Bank. Mr. Dipankar Chakravarti, who is going to be the next speaker after me, Executive Director, PwC India. Fellow entrepreneurs, I believe everybody in this hall is an entrepreneur or maybe a budding entrepreneur, and that's why you're here. In fact, today, I was supposed to speak today and I had confirmed, but unfortunately I lost my father on the 1st of January and I had my last rites today, but because DNB had already confirmed, so I made it today in the evening, so I could be a little emotional and maybe follow what Axis Bank is saying, they'll say. So instead of being a little professional, I would like to talk from my heart and tell you my journey about how I got into my export business and how I reached where I am today. The journey has not ended. I'm still continuing. So the first thing that I would like to say, and I would like to agree, and you all will agree, no risk, no gain. So if we are businessmen, the risk is always there. But then if you can sustain that, if you can agree to bear that, you will definitely succeed. And I'm sure you all will agree to this. So when Dun & Bradstreet asked me to speak, narrate my journey into exports, I will run briefly of my 37 years of business activities. Exports is only 22 years, but then I was into other business before exports. As I have been introduced, I am a chartered accountant. But soon after my class 10, I joined my father and was learning the ropes of how he did his own business. He was a small electrical goods manufacturing factory, And then he used to call me and I would learn from him on and off. Used to go and help him out. However, in my stint as an article clerk in Lodha and Company, which is a renowned chartered accountant firm in our zone, and that time it was pretty renowned. Now it is renowned for some other reasons as well. But Lodha and Company has been very, very instrumental in my lifestyle or my working style, because Lodha and Company always allowed article students to go on their own and do the audit without having a senior on top of you. And then that is where you really learned how various other things are being done by businessmen. So while auditing, I soon discovered that, and which was in stark contrast to the way my father used to do business. I discovered that business is done by people, that you have to have people, departments, managers, and who would help you, who would make a company grow. And this was in stark contrast to what my father used to do when he was doing his business. It was a one-man show. So I used to really wonder what's happening and why things are so contrasting. And I went and confronted my father, like, sir, why are you a one-man show? And rightly said, beta, आपको cost control करना पड़ता है. He was right. Cost भी control करना पड़ता है. So while I was contemplating in these contrasting features, I realized that yes, both are correct. If you have to grow, you have to keep evolving. And then you have to keep adding values. But you have to optimize also. What is optimization? Controlling your cost, optimizing your cost. So it's a fine balance between the two. And then you cannot have one growing and spending a lot of money, having a lot of people, and not optimizing your cost. And only optimizing your cost will never let you grow. So that balance had to be learned. So this is where I realized that you have to keep understanding what's happening in the world, what's evolving, what's changing. I started in 1990s, 1985, 1990, and that time the way business was being done was much, much different than what we are doing today. It is very, very different. So until and unless you are evolving, you are learning the ropes, you are not getting where you want to really reach. Everybody wants to reach somewhere. So keep evolving, keep learning. Quickly, I will share you a very personal story and how I got into exports. I was not into exports. I was helping my father. Even after my CA, I went back to my father and was supporting him. But deep inside me, I always wanted to get into export business. And in our family, there was nobody into export, so I just did not know how to get into it. So I will share a very personal story. 1994, I had a tip with my wife. And I left Calcutta and went to Delhi. It was such a big fight. And in Delhi, I went to my uncle and my sister. She's sitting here with me today. She was there. They said, they started helping me. I had nothing to do. I just gone there without any work, nothing. So she introduced me to a shopkeeper in Red Fort who used to sell jewelry inside Red Fort to foreigners. So she introduced me to this person called Sudhir Goyal, company named Creations India. There's a shop still there. And he said, okay, you can sit here all day, but no salary. I said, fine, I agreed. No problem, I'll sit with you. Because I always had the desire to get into exports, and this person was selling to foreigners. So that was quite interesting for me. I was there for about 4 or 5 months, and I realized how things were. This was my first international exposure, because I started talking to these foreigners who would come to the shop. They placed orders, we were sending goods, and all free, of course, nothing. Came back to Kolkata. In 2000, this Sudhir Goyal, the shop owner, called me. I booked a stall in Milan. Would you like to accompany me? He could barely speak good English. So he said, okay, you come with me, you can spend time with me. I'll take all costs, but you have to take the airfare. I said, okay, agreed. I didn't have enough money to buy the air ticket as well, but then I said, okay, I'll buy it and come with you. Believe me, I went to this fair called Machef. It's a huge fair for jewelry and other products. And sitting with him in his stall and seeing other people opened my eyes, opened my vision, opened my outlook. And I realized that world is pretty big and you can really do it. Fortunately, there was a shop, a stall owner which was owned by an Italian, and he was selling Shantiniketan bag. Now, Shantiniketan bag is very, very peculiar to Kolkata, West Bengal. It's an art of West Bengal. And I saw there's a long queue outside its stand, and people were buying. And I said, fine, if an Italian can sell Shantiniketan bags, why can't I? It struck me, came back to Kolkata, looked for Shantiniketan bags, placed orders, booked a stall in Milan myself with borrowed money, and booked a stall and went to Milan again with Shantiniketan bags. Believe me, it was my first success. I got orders from the stall. What I want to point out here is you really need to evolve. If I was sitting at home with my dad, I would not have really understood. You keep exploring, keep going, keep evolving, and that's what Axis Bank is talking about. Keep looking forward of newer ways of learning things. So, in this process, I got to learn how to send goods, how to ship out goods to those fairs, and learn what documentations are required and things like that. And believe me, I was doing 6 to 8 trade fairs every year for roughly about 5-6 years. I was in Miami, came in the newspaper in Miami because my goods were looking pretty beautiful. And why beautiful? Because I did not carry the Shantiniketan bags, which is normally made. You see those elephant motifs and flowers and all that. I changed the styling and made it contemporary to European designs. Because I realized that Europeans don't like real Indian motif. So that's again a question of changing, palletizing to the needs of the country, of that country, their colors, their lookout. So I was on the newspaper in Miami. I was on the TV show in Bolivia. I was there in a Bolivian show, 9 days selling goods. Why? Only I adapted the art of Bengal and changed the motif, changed the design. So this helped me. So what I'm always trying to say is that evolve, learn, change. Do not stick to what is already happening. So what do I say? Whom do I thank? My wife, with whom I had a tiff, or my sister who introduced me to the shop owner, or the shop owner? I would actually thank all of them. Now, while I was doing pretty good in my leather business, 2008 was the Lehman Brothers and the world trade collapsed. All export business, other businesses, they were all collapsing. I really did not know what to do. My business dropped to 20%. Buyers' orders dropped to 20%. What to do? Tried my best. I had already built up my own factory by then, invested a lot of money, kept on trying, no break even. Because Europeans were not buying anymore. Leather goods was expensive. What to do? Found somebody who wanted to buy a leather unit and I sold it. Believe me, I sold a running unit where I was making money, making profit. Didn't know what to do again. Fortunately, a friend of mine, Shankar Ramalingam, he came to me and generally to chit-chat. He's an old friend of mine and said he was the CEO of a seafood exporting company and that company was shutting down because the owners did not want to do it. And we kept chatting and then we came together. He said, why don't we start exports of seafood in your company because you are an export house status holder. I said, nothing, I have no problem, you can. Agreed again. So the journey started. Shankar Ramalingam joined me and we became partners 50-50. He knew the business. I had my experience in exports. And then we joined together. 2011, we started. We were producing in a third-party processing house. We were using my company. And then our business grew, growing double-digit every year, double-digit, doubling every year. So from a mere 6 crores in 2011, we are now at 230 crores this year. 2016, we decided the company where we were working is not big enough to cater to our demands. So we decided we must have our own plant. 2016, we bought land, built up a plant, and believe me, the government helped us, and we had an investment from Sidvi Venture Capital. MOFP gave us a grant of 8.5 crores. We didn't have enough money to build the plant. They gave us 8.5 crores. Sidvi invested 8.5 crores, and then we have a plant, 40 crores in 2017. One of the very good plant in Eastern Zone. So what I would like to say here, that the vision should be there that you need to grow. So always remember that. Be focused and targeted. If you want to do something, please continue to do it. Do not lose hope. And that's what businessmen are all about. Be passionate and innovative. If you are doing something, involve yourself completely. Put yourself in. Try to learn everything about what you're doing. Never stop learning because you have never reached the peak. Be decisive and quick. Why I'm saying quick? Our plant, which is on a 2.5 acres land, we built this plant from scratch to production, flat 13 months in Bengal. Believe me, in Bengal, 13 months the plant was on. We now have 800 people working there, state-of-the-art plant with all certifications and brandings. Quality, export market needs quality. So we have to be quality conscious. So from day one, we did all the certification, the BAP, the BRC, they are all certifications required by US, European customers, and they will not place orders until you are competent enough to make the best quality products. So you have to be the best if you want to be in the export market. No shortcuts. So while doing this, I would now like to come, what challenges do you face when you want to grow? So there are a lot of challenges. Finance is one of the biggest challenge. But if your intentions are good, believe me, banks, Axis Bank too, will always come and support you in your endeavor. Your vision, your ideas should be deliverable. Banks are there to help you. Never hesitate to contact them. They will come forward if your ideas and everything is good. What is more challenging? Finding buyers. That is the biggest challenge when you are getting export. How to do that? Communicate whichever way you can. Just communicate. You may not get anything. Keep communicating. Travel. Go there. Maybe you'll find someone who will take your goods. Email, phone calls, fax, travel, whatever you want. And participate in trade fairs. That's the starting point. Do not think it's expensive, but then that's what it is all about. It's expensive, but then that's where you might get your first buyer. And when you get your first buyer, things start falling into place. So that is how you need to evolve yourself. Do not be scared. You need to spend a little money on export business. You can't escape that. So what I'm trying to insist that keep gathering knowledge of various things. How to be better than the other exporters, how to be good from the other suppliers, how to get the best out of it, how to control your cost. Now I'm coming back to controlling cost. Once you get orders, you will always find competition coming in your way. So how do you excel? So what you have to do is you have to then start thinking about saving cost. Now cost control and cost optimization are two different things. I can control cost by not keeping people, by not keeping managers, by not keeping supervisors. But cost optimization is keeping your people, doing everything, and taking the best out of them. So that's a difference, fine line difference. So be cost optimizing. Remember that. Another important factor which I would point out here is the payments from buyers. People are very scared. They are very, you'll get many buyers abroad who would like to place orders and big orders, and you're always greedy. Okay, let me take that order. But payment terms, okay, you send the goods, I'll pay you. Please refrain from that, because there are many people who would place orders, huge orders, but not pay you later. So if your goods are of quality, you will always get buyers of quality goods. Payment terms should be secured. Do not get into this greed of just sending goods. You'll lose a lot of money. So be choosy of buyers. Do not just send to anybody and everybody. That's what I would like to wanted to share, because that's what DNB told me to share my journey. And I would like to say, if you want to do something, if you want to get something done, just do it. Just do it. I'm open to question answers, and now I would say, this is where I would now repeat the topic, shifting gears for the next level growth. Keep doing things. Do not hesitate to do things. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta, for such great insights. I'm sure this has help us all in a long way. I now open the floor for some question and answers. Question and answers from the audience, please.
Sir, good evening. This is Abhay Pudar from Shushi Projects. We are into electrical automation and renewables. You mentioned that the government was very helpful. So could you share some light? Because I think a percentage of the audience wouldn't agree on that as of now.
Well, we always feel that government is not with us, but they are. But you really need to work hard. You need to find out in your own sector what policies are there, what grants they are giving. They are giving some grants in all sectors. It's not that they are not. But then we normally don't try to find out what's happening. So the best way is, like in your sector, you should join some of the councils, which are export promotion councils. Join that, become a member. These councils will keep telling you what grants and subsidies and support government is giving, and then you really need to work hard for that. So do not lose hope. You will get. It's tough. Hard work is important.
I'm Kapadia from Rajda Group of Companies. Maybe you know us very well.
Yeah.
We are export house for industrial leather gloves and businesses. You are also associated with ILPA, so you'll be able to. Just now, the recession is going on all over Western countries. So, do you think that this is the time for the survival of the fittest? Those companies who have been doing very well and tightening their belt, as you said, you have to look after your expense side also. So do you think this is a good opportunity, having recession, having a good opportunity for the people who are surviving against the best? Do you think this is a proper time for them to expand?
Yeah, Paresh Rajda was my mentor, so with all humility, I have always been supportive of Paresh Bhai, and I miss him quite a lot. What you're saying is that we should, if we are afraid of the wrong things that are going to come, we will never survive. So everything is a challenge. So take the challenge in the right spirit. You know what happens when recession is happening? The world is gloomy and the atmosphere is gloomy, but then world does not stop. So it's again a matter of how you take it and how differently you can think to survive. So when you see for example, there are 100 people doing the same business, 30, 40 people will definitely survive. So now you have to choose where you belong to. If you are always scared and not willing to take challenges, you will belong to the 70 people who will keep on crying. And if you are willing to take some challenges, you will definitely be on those 30, and you will make more profit in the process. So never lose heart. Recession never stays for very long. This is the time where you control your cost a little bit, but keep working hard. You will definitely sail through. I believe that.
Any more questions?
I'm S.J. Mukherjee from, I am manufacturing mechanical products. But
Can you speak a little louder? I can't hear you. Yeah.
I'm S.J. Mukherjee.
Yes.
I'm manufacturing mechanical products. But just one question I'm asking you. You were doing very good in Shantiniketani exports, bags, leather. There was a time of recession or whatever it is. Why did you close down? Why didn't you continue it?
Sir, this is a very tough decision which I had taken in those days. I had my own factory which had a lot of overhead, and believe me, I was about to build a factory of 1,25,000 square feet in leather. I had land in the Calcutta Leather Complex, and I had made the plans and everything. Only the bank funding was pending. And that was in 2007. I had submitted my proposal in many banks to fund me. 2008 recession happened. And 3 years I tried to sustain the business, and I shelved my plans of building this factory. I was trying to sustain. The volumes were not coming back because I was too much dependent on the European market and not on the US market. And European actually has not picked up since then. 2008, even today, they are not in good shape. And I was dependent on the European market. So their volumes were not picking up, and I could not sustain for too long. 3 years I tried. My overheads were more than my earnings. So I found it prudent to shut it down, and it's very tough. I had to sit with my whole family and decide, okay, we need to shut down, and we did. But my eyes were open, so I kept hunting for something better, and something definitely good happened. And I still believe many of my leather friends who are still into leather business compliment me for switching gears to marine. So that's what I'm talking about.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Station is there. Filling station is there now.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta, for answering these questions and sharing your perspectives and time with us. I now invite on the stage CBG Geography Head East, SCG, Mr. Ratul Mukhopadhyay, to felicitate our guest. Kindly join me in welcoming our second keynote speaker of this evening, Mr. Dipankar Chakrabarti. He is the Executive Director of AWS Alliance Leader and Data Control Office Leader, PwC India. Mr. Chakrabarti has 30 years of work experience in multiple domains and startups. He has enabled technology COE set up for e-commerce, IT strategy, cloud migration strategy, and implementation. Mr. Chakrabarti has handled roles as advisory risk leader, successfully holding office as trustee of PwC India Foundation. Mr. Chakrabarti has supported multiple organizations to set up their IT strategy, digital strategy, and cloud transformation strategy, and help them in implementations of such strategies. He is setting up a data control office for PwC India. Mr. Chakrabarti has pursued MTech from IIT Kanpur as Nuclear Power Corporation Scholar. He has done MDP in Corporate Creativity from Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata. He has completed his certificate on Disruptive Strategy from Harvard Business School, certificate in Database Decision from Cambridge Judges School, and certificate in Introduction in Quantum Computing from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He is a member of multiple IEEE Standards Committee, a life member of Indian Institute of Chemical Engineers, and chairman for ICT Subcommittee for Confederation of Indian Industry Eastern Region. He is also a visiting professor of IIM Ranchi and IIM Lucknow. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dipankar Chakravarti on stage.
Good evening. I'm really thankful to Axis Bank and DNB to invite me to speak in front of this August gathering. It's really heartening to see so many entrepreneurs are in same one place. I have been working with multiple entrepreneurs because of my type of work, what I do. And my feeling, I'll try to explain today. The topic is shifting gears for next level growth. And what we are trying to say here is that how digital transformation can make that happen. And the first thing when I start looking at it, when I start discussion with, I actually mentor lots of startups, they say that digital transformation is very costly. Second, those who are a little bit higher in the scale, not startup, SME, MSME, SME, a little bit middle layer, they feel that digitization is digital transformation. So there are lots of confusion on this. And my point is digitization and digital transformations are two separate things. And if we really can look into things properly, we can make a huge amount of benefits out of digital transformation. And it's really not costly. I will pick up some pointers from my previous speaker, Mr. Gupta, a fantastic rendition of his personal journey. I always like to hear such journeys. If we really heard him, if I pick up the key words, that's my one of type of work, what I do, qualitative analysis of different surveys. He was telling that cost and evolution of a company is a paradox. And where I put my case on digital transformation, if you properly utilize the digital ecosystem, you can optimize your cost, not cut your cost. Optimize your cost with a much faster evolution of your company. And there I want to really focus. So that's one of the key points what Mr. Gupta told. Second, he was telling, and these are all subtle points, but if you see why I picked those up, actually these, when I talk about digital transformation, I really don't focus only on technology, because technology is one of the artifacts of digital transformation. It's people, process, which makes this happen. So, I mean, I tell always my clients or my juniors, technology is like a hammer. You know, I mean, get a nail, put it in the wall. But which wall you have to put the nail is your choice. And that will make the system better or worse. So leadership is another thing he told, leadership and innovation. That's what digital transformation really needs from you. An immersive leadership which can take the people together to make that transformation happen. And when I say transformation, there is something different. I mean, do you understand change and transformation has a difference? Anybody can give me a hint what's the difference between change and transformation? A transformation is from a caterpillar to a butterfly. You cannot come back. The moment you transform, you cannot come back to your old state. So that's the difference I want to make here. Digitization and digital transformation. Digitization is a delta change. You can come back to the old state. Transformation is a complete change which will not allow to come back to your old state. And that you need to really target to supersede the peers of yours. It's a very complex world. And with the pandemic, actually digital transformation has accelerated by 7 years. Our study says what would have been done in 2030, we are doing it today, just because of pandemic. And the amount of, you are seeing in your days, I mean, which bank was giving so much add-on mobile banking? Which bank? I mean, 3 years back? No. I mean, I used to work with multiple manufacturing organizations. Nowadays, everybody is telling me, hey, how can I use sensors to make things happen? But there is a click in that. There is lots of peer pressure. Hey, I mean, I get lots of time these discussions. That company had done digital transformation. So I told what they have done. I don't know, but they are giving propaganda. Please tell us how we can do this. That's not how you can do digital transformation. It's a journey. It's a real path of yours. And you need to follow that very meticulously. So few other points I wanted to tell. Quality, Mr. Gupta told. How digital can help you doing quality is a real case study. I'm telling you, I have myself had done multiple such implementation. I am basically a quality leader also of PwC. I am sponsor for multiple quality activities. When I put in a manufacturing organization a digital set into a quality improvement program, the whole cost gets decreased. Why? Rework cost gets decreased. Because you are putting sensors, you are putting IoT, I mean, it's a fad word. I think I should tell IoT because I'm a technical person. But it's actually sensors which you put into the system to understand the whatever, temperature, the unit of roughness, friction, oil quantity, everything at your fingertips. That's what makes it different. The moment you have those at your hand, you can have that data analyzed to make a better quality system. And I spoke about data. I want to come back to on data a little bit later because that's where your transformation lies. And we need to really have a fantastic strategy to make that happen. Then Mr. Gupta told about buyer, and he told that he actually changed the motives to make European. And that clicked. What we can do in digital, we can get your customers every second's data to give you privileged insight into the customer. And you actually can know what you can do for a particular customer. I'm a different person than Mr. Gupta, or I'm a different person than Mr. Singh. So catering to me may be completely different than catering to Mr. Gupta. It seems very tough, but with the amount of tools, technology, we can now do a generalization of customization. Very, very important. I mean, may not be a comparison, but there are large shoe companies who are taking your personal data and giving you one piece of shoes. Because what is happening? The middle sole, which actually makes the dice changes, is not now need to be changed your dice. You have your 3D printing. You actually can get all data in your machine to immediately change your settings, which doesn't need any manual intervention. You can do your analytics of data and come up with a set of prefabbed things because you know how the percentage of customers were willing to buy this. Those were not there even 4 years back, 5 years back. I mean, when I used to do a digital strategy now, I always tell people don't do IT strategy. I mean, I really hate IT strategy now. It's not IT strategy, it's digital strategy. What does it mean? That means you should have first your business strategy and find out what all things can supplement that to reach a higher goal. It's not what all things can make a app or what all things can make a good program. Don't go for that. ERP is not what you are looking for when you do a digital transformation. You are looking for your business propositions supported by technology. Very, very important. And there it actually makes the things different. So as I was telling, so you all are doing this. I mean, if you see, if you can read, you are enabling your pay to procure to pay cycle, means ERP, simple. You are enabling your people to do remote working. Without that, it's impossible to survive. You are upgrading your systems, which were already end of life, your hardware. All this, you are accelerating your digitization, but this is not giving you competitive edge. I always tell people, even large financial institutions when I talk to, when I say why you will purchase another hardware in this market, what will be your ROI? And you are thinking, people ask me multiple times, when I do a transformation, digital transformation, what is my ROI? I tell, what is your ROI of a hardware if you're currently having it? Nothing. We are not actually taking the help of the ecosystem which can give you a fantastic ROI. Use cloud. I mean, these terms are not really a jargon. What I can do, I can have a shared platform where I can utilize it as my pay per usage. I don't have to have a capital investment. I can optimize my cost by that. So our digitization is a good thing, but not so good thing. So if you see why I am telling this, because the whole things are changing. Your customer base got changed. In this last 3 years, people now are omni-channel. I don't know, I mean, you must have seen, I mean, even you go to retail shop, you find out people will look at your thing and then immediately search in net, 10% discount hai isme. I will not buy from here. So it's omni-channel. The whole demand got revolutionized. How you cope it up with? If you are not changing your strategy of digital, you can't cope up with a millennium kid who is always on his mobile and doing WhatsApp. I mean, I like to work with juniors. Even today also I had we got 18 just directly under me, 18 intern from multiple grade 1 universities. And I'm giving an inaugural speech to them, welcoming, and they are actually doing mobile. So I told, why you are looking at your mobile? No, I am just trying to figure out whatever you are saying is matching with your site or not. I told, oh, can you do it later? See, they are my customer. Please understand that. I mean, I have to sell them my AWS so that they can be with me for another next 3 years. That's another. So what I'm telling, the whole demand got revolutionized. The whole supply chain is also revolutionizing. I mean, I'm sure you all understand these days that old way of, central thing, everything is owned by me, is not helping out. Even economy of scale is not helping out. So you have to break it down, be focusing on what you do best, and use your digital ecosystem to get everything else together. So you actually, these days, many of you are a party to a platform, knowingly or unknowingly. What is a platform? Where you have multiple actors who are working on a digital space and giving you data on which you are elaborating and getting your business done. Multiple cases, Amazon, Facebook, everybody is there on that. So the whole supply chain got changed. Finally, you are actually transforming the whole context. Even for the entrepreneurs, for startups, nobody these days will fund you if you are not environment friendly. Whatever said and done. Now, how you become environment friendly? You have to bake in your ESG policy inside your business policy. Nobody's thinking that. I mean, people are doing ESGs somewhere here. Acha, I do business, environment is there. But slowly you will find out, you are finding out the green funds. Things are changing very fast. And if you are not digitally enabling yourself to understand your environment and how that is getting changed by you, even I am telling you, there are organizations who are now measuring carbon footprint of individuals. I actually have to submit my individual carbon footprint every month. I am a horrible person because I just travel like mad. So that's a different issue altogether. But that's the way how the things are happening. And this can only happen if you understand your data strategy proper. Hence, when I was telling three things, I was telling about the business strategy, I was telling about your tech strategy, and I am talking about data strategy. This is the third thing which has come into the play. I know even today there are very few people who are actually thinking about that. It's not easy. It's not easy on two counts. One, data is a very, very sensitive thing. And if really things goes in government's way, the data policy which is coming up which is actually coming up, stalled. Now it will be coming, I'm sure within next 6 months probably it will be seeing the light. Keeping data with you will become a very, very challenging job. You have to have a proper data strategy to understand which data can be kept with you, how to keep with that. Many of you are working with European countries, I'm sure, as an exporter. The GDPR has a humongous challenge with companies. The amount of investment you have to do to manage that data is very, very important. The second count is how you utilize the data to monetize it. You have huge amount of data with you. You have your ERPs. You have all your customers' profile. Have you ever thought of how you can find out which customer is, normally we do it from my gut, but when I tell how you can do it from your data, profile your customer, find out who pays on 28 days, who pays on 67 days. Can I create a whole map and can tell that, hey, this is the focus point whom I need to shift in this side. All these are really a strategic position. It's not just right thumbs up. You have to strategically think about that. So all these are changing. So it's a time where you really have to think how you can be different, and it's not very easy. So I'm just trying to really give you 7, I should say, sort of a sermon that follow this in your digital world. You will be a better digitally aware person and can be going beyond your competition. That's very, very important. Working in a red ocean really doesn't give you any benefit. You have to think always of a blue ocean, where you can think what is the one or two things we can really change to make my competition completely dissolved. That's what is required. And that only can be done by your proper digital strategy, proper technology, proper data management, and utilization of your people's skilling in digital. That's another point which I want to say. If you see these 7 things, probably you can't read, but just let me tell you. What I am saying here, that people, process, and technology if these three things, if you can merge together, you actually can go much higher without really spending a huge amount of money. For that example, if you know that you can have, without a large capital investment, a system which can make elasticity in its life depending upon your demand. I'm giving an example. In the time of puja, I was working with one of the SMEs, and they came back to me saying that, there will be huge demand in our system, but I don't know how much that will be, and I don't know when it will fail. Last year, because it's digital, last year also digital. Last year we actually could not cater to lots of people, because again, I'm sure you all know, if you have a shopping site, you go there, you do that same thing for others. Go there, open up, 15 seconds, no response, thank you very much. There are 200 other shopping sites, let me go there. So what we did, we told, fine, let's do a cloud strategy. And we actually did the whole simulation, 1/10, more than that, 1/20th of the hardware price. We did a full simulation. We told this many number of customers can come in this number of seconds. If you are okay with that, let's go up to this. And what we did, we didn't tell them to buy the whole gamut of this capacity. We told, keep it there, talk to your cloud provider. Actually, we did the negotiation that whenever it is needed, they should give you up to that limit of expansion in your cloud. And that made the difference. They actually did 28% higher sales than the last year, just because of digital strategy, understanding the data, understanding the customer better. So what I'm telling here, reimagine your company's place in the world. Please, reevaluate it. Digital transformation is a business transformation. It's not a technology transformation. And when you are shifting your gear for the next level of growth, please think through what is that next level. As Mr. Gupta probably thought of marine from leather. Think differently. Understand where you have the best possible utilization. It may be your current business itself, but is that the same level, or you have to go to multiple different other level altogether? And through probably a better usage of your data and your digital artifacts. Embrace and create value via ecosystem. That's I am continuously telling you. Please understand, today's world, if you are not connected, you are nowhere. In next 3 to 4 years, the amount of digital invasion will make all the businesses completely non-sustainable or non-viable if you are not digitally connected with the world. And that makes a fantastic thing. You are actually local, but actually global. So being globalized with a localized theme is the point what you need to talk to. Build a system of privilege insight with customer. I am telling this multiple times. Privilege insight of your customer. That makes your competition irrelevant. Because the information what you get of a customer, I can give you an example of one of the software company which an SME plus moving upwards. They actually understood the whole gamut of a customer's journey on their site. And they found out where all the people are getting out. Means they're coming in, at which screen they feel they are not getting value and going out. And they created a whole strategy around that privileged information. And now they are at least 50% more customer retention than what was there 2 years back. So try to get those privileged customer data, privileged information, and you have those data. Try to make those data available for you for your betterment. Make organization outcome oriented. Don't think about, I always tell people, don't think about your product, think about your service. And that will make the things different. An F1 pit stop, if you have seen, they don't bother about whether you are good, bad, ugly. They just want 13 seconds, your car out. That's the outcome. So set that KPI that way and create a digital dashboard which is transparent to everyone. They should know what is happening. Today's leadership, if you are not being transparent to your workforce is completely, they will leave. I'm sure you are all facing this. Even PwC faces that. So it's a different game altogether. And with the millennials and with the pressure of working from home, things are different. Invert the focus of your leadership team. Leaders are not really dictators. Invert it. Make a team with your digital dashboards, your digital thought process, and make them together to make the transformation happen. That will give you the benefit. Reinvent the social contract with your people. It's not, I go, do work, get paid, and I am happy. No. People are asking for more share into the work. They are asking for more mind share of the leadership. Think through that. Make a better technology-driven workspace for them. Make them happy with their personal devices. So these are all, but what makes that difficult? Because that gives you a threat of cyber attack. So when I'm talking about a digital strategy, please think about the risks. Think about your enterprise risk in a different fashion. It's not those old risks of competition, money, buyers not paying you. It's more on how cyber threats are making things worse, how your data gets theft. So all those to be looked into. Finally, disrupt your own leadership. Please think differently in your leadership strategy. Bring in more sort of paradoxes into that and figure out where you are. I can give you a quick glimpse on that. What I'm telling, are you strategic executor, tech-savvy humanist, globally minded localist, traditional innovator, humble hero, or high-integrity politician? Think through that. These are all paradoxes. But you have to think through that, balance it, and make your people align to you. That will make it happen. Finally, I will just close it quickly. Think through the tool sets which you can use. And please understand, your peer is using some tool set doesn't mean you have to use that. Make your own decision. And for that, you need probably some third party. But you need to understand the language of the third party to make them drive your transformation. Your transformation is your transformation. So whatever people are telling, please be digitally aware, digitally savvy, upskill yourself so that you can make things better. Make your people more empowered with digital learning. Give learning and on digital tool sets to all your employees at every level. And I'm telling you, even workshop level it is required. Because the things are changing so fast that you will not have people who are not understanding how to take data into the system. So make that very important. There are a few things you need to focus. One is make your mundane processes roboticized. Analyze your data with machine learning. Make better use of AI and try to see how 3D printing, robotics can make your life easier. Finally, what I always see that if you can have a proper digital strategy, transformation will give you much higher value than the cost of the digital expenses. Over on top of that, you have a very enhanced control environment, improved processes, better decision making because of data, not by guts, and upskilled workforce. So finally, a path I normally suggest everyone: conduct your kickoff meetings, work with your team and the third party together to understand few use cases. Please do not do big bang. Try to figure out which use case is the lowest hanging fruit to make it digitalized. Then do that. If you are successful, if you think, and that's the advantage of a cloud. I mean, I can do experiments, and if I fail, I will just, tell, okay, fine, I don't want to. So, work fast, fail fast. I always tell that, fail fast. Do experiment, fail fast, go to the next experiment. And that is what digital is giving you. Democratization of power. I mean, large organization and between a small organization, there is no difference if on a cloud. I get same price for everyone, and I do per usage basis. Then, after your pilot successful, create a pipeline of use cases and strategize it with your employees whom you have given upskilling. Finally, create a launch pad and then execute and go fast. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Chakraborty, for such lovely insights. I'm sure there are a lot of takeaways for our audience from this session. I now request Mr. Abhijit Roy, our Geography Head, MEG East, to felicitate our guest